Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. I am very excited about today's video. We're going to be installing some Nilight LEDs. These are RGB, red, green, blue, and then it has the remote so you can do all sorts of different colors. This right here can be used for just about anything you want to. If you want to do interior lights like I'm doing, you want to illuminate your hood, your engine bay, your trunk, put it around your subwoofers. It shows here a street bike, dirt bike, or maybe even some daytime running lights. It does say here that it is ultra waterproof and that it has some powerful adhesive on it. So that's also a good thing. I do get kind of picky about a lot of the double bag tape companies like to put on their products because it ends up being really cheap stuff. This is the nicer stuff that has the foam in it. It's not just like that clear goo that we've used in previous videos that ended up coming back off. These guys right here have a ton of stuff, and we will be reviewing more of their items in the future as we build the toggle switch panel for this car. They have a whole bunch of items on their site. I'll make sure to have the links to everything that we use in the description below, including Nilight themselves and this product. So this is one of the simplest installs that we're probably gonna be doing on Tenza Motorsports. It's really just power and ground. And then there are 2 long strands, 4 medium ones, and then 2 short ones. And the hardest part about doing this is running the wiring. If you're doing a bullet bike, a street bike, the hardest thing about it is making sure that your wiring is ran somewhere where it's safe. It's not gonna get, hit by your tire or burnt by your exhaust. In this car here, the hardest thing about it is gonna be finding your power source and then running the wire. And this one is gonna be a little bit more complicated because we're actually taking this kit and splitting it in half. So my interior right now has a headliner that's completely gone. So there's no overhead lights. I just have the jockey box light, which is obviously only on when the glove box is down. And then I have the 2 lights under the footwells. So we're not gonna be putting any of these down there. It's really just gonna be over top of us. And what that means is I'm not gonna be using all 8 strands of this. I'll probably only use about 4 of them. I'm not sure which ones we'll be using, but the process will be the same no matter what size of strands we use. And the other half, we're gonna go to this car. We only have 1 controller and 1 remote. So this car will have the multicolor changing ones. And then this one here, we're actually gonna be running a pink. So stay tuned for that video in the future where we just take 4 of these and actually make them a permanent pink. So let's get this opened up and I'll show you exactly how everything goes together. And then we'll start getting this installed. And I will show specifically what we're doing with this car. So if you end up doing something similar to this, you'll know what to do. Now, like I said in the intro, I did open this up just to make sure that everything was working on it. I normally do that just so that I don't get into the video and find out that something is damaged or ruined. And it came in perfect condition, so it was packaged properly and it was sent and handled properly as well. These guys sent this so quickly that I didn't even have a chance to check the tracking number before it showed up to the house. So let's get this open here. I tried to put this back together the way it came, but basically here you have all of the LEDs and the wiring. And we'll get back to that in just a second. Before we go any further, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and like this video if you enjoy this type of content. And if you haven't already, also make sure you check out Instagram, Tenza_Motorsports, where we do giveaways. Just make sure you follow us. That's all you gotta do. All right, so we'll go through this piece by piece. Here is some wiring. And like I said, this is gonna be super simple. You've got power and ground. And so this is just an extension for your controller box. Same thing, there's your positive and negative. There's your controller box. This is what the remote actually will talk to, is this box here. And then there is the connector that goes into the rest of the LEDs. So you wanna make sure that you're not putting this somewhere where your remote can't see it if you want to control the lights. Your owner's manual obviously will go through some of the information. It'll show you all the wiring. So this is the diagram here. The other thing I like about this is the connector here is a very good solid feeling connector, but it still comes apart. I'm very picky about electrical connectors that you snap together and then you can't pull back apart and you end up pulling on the wires. I don't like that. These have very nice connectors on them. And then this is your guide to all of the different functions. So red, blue, pink, green, yellow, blue, green, white, orange. I mean, just a huge list, and they do flashing and breathing and just a whole bunch of functions from this remote. And the other thing I want to talk about real quick is the remote itself. It's actually very well built. It's got a little bit of weight to it. The buttons themselves feel very distinct and quality. And it's got this cool little slide so you can cover those. And so I'm just gonna keep this somewhere where it's accessible in the car so I can change the colors as I want to. Here is some double back tape for this guy here. So wherever you decide to put this, you can put that. Here are some connectors. So this is your negative and your positive, and then there's an extra fuse. There's a fuse inside here. So if you ever blow this fuse, you can spin it out and replace it. They give you one extra one of those. And then here are the LEDs themselves. Really straightforward. This plugs into the box, and these plug into the LEDs. You can't mess it up. There's really only one way to plug these in. And then the LEDs themselves, like I said, we have 4 medium length ones. So that's these ones right here. And then we have 2 long ones and then 2 short ones. So what I'll probably be doing today, I think, is maybe the 2 short ones and the 2 long ones, and then leave these for the other car. Haven't quite decided yet. This wire here is just under 2 feet, it looks like. And then you have another 7-8 inches here. So from this one being plugged in all the way to the other side of the car, you'd be able to reach. So where I'm gonna be putting one on one side of the car, the passenger side, and one on the driver's side of the car, this will reach plenty fine. So pretty excited about that. If you did ever have to extend these, you would have to cut into this and extend them. And we are gonna be doing that with the other LEDs that we put in the other car. So yeah, really excited. Let's get this into the car, and I'll show where I'm gonna be pulling my power from and what I'll be doing for my negative. And then the hardest thing about this, the hardest thing about installing this is you running the wiring. That's it. This right here plugs in just like this. We'll actually plug it in here real quick. I'll get a 9-volt and we can see what these look like. Boom, just like that. And then as you can see here, I can use the functions on the remote. To make all sorts of different colors. So yeah, let's stop talking, let's get this in the car. So here we are, the passenger door of the race car. You open up the door and we have the footwell lights, which are super bright. These are actually AUXITO bulbs. I'll have these linked in the description below as well. And the jockey box is nice and well lit, but the rest of the car doesn't have anything up top here. The headliner, the interior lights that used to sit here and in the middle, and I think there were some back there on the C-pillars. So what we'll be doing is tapping into this power source here and then running the wires up. I'll try to hide them so they're not hanging down like this. Up over here into the middle of the car, and that's where I'll have the controller box and the split for the wires. It'll all be located up here, and then I'll leave the remote down here somewhere in the center console. All right, so here we are on the outside of the car again. We're gonna open up the door. Lower interior lights are on. And now we have some overhead interior lights. And again, you can set these to whatever color you want. So red would obviously be something to be really cool in this car. It's going to match all the seats and stuff and a lot of the accents. I'm gonna show what the wiring looks like right now. This is basically just tacked up there right now. I'm gonna have to organize all this again later because I'm running out of time tonight. So obviously it's not gonna stay like that. But I think the best way to do this, in my opinion, would be to extend these wires out just a little bit. So I think that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing, is actually extending this out so that it doesn't cut across here, so I can go over and then down. But other than that, everything else looks and works fantastic. The remote actually works from a really long ways away. I'm just super happy with this. Like, it's been so long since I could see the interior of the car at night when you open the door. If there's not lights on or you're parked directly under a street lamp, you just can't see anything. So this is all very exciting for us here. So thanks so much for watching. Sorry I couldn't show the final product. When we do the other car and install the other LED bars, I will show a finalized version of this, but I already mentioned several times that the hardest part about this is just making sure that this isn't going to be a big mess, that you're actually getting this set up so that wires are out of the way and they look nice and that it's not just this giant spider web above you. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment section below. Really appreciate everybody's support, everybody's views, everybody's likes, and everybody's subscriptions. Make sure to check us out on Instagram, Tenza_motorsports, and we will see all of you in the next video.
Bam!